Welcome to the talk show where men unite. We're having conversations that inspire and ignite. From relationships to wellness, we cover it all. In this positive space, we're standing tall. We're the men of the talk show, spreading good vibes, sharing knowledge, opening hearts wide. We got positive energy flowing through. Join the conversation, let us empower you.
All right, welcome back to the Men's Talk Show. This is Daron, got Wayne here. Today, we have a very special topic that I want to talk about today, and I want to talk about why does intimacy stop in relationships. So this one is for my fellas, girls included too, or women. Yeah, definitely, this is definitely another important topic to talk about because it's not always one-sided where the, women thinks the man is cheating. It can always be the other way around. But definitely have some good points that I want to make today. I think some of the reasons why intimacy stop in a relationship is because either, your girlfriend is cheating on you or your partner, but they won't admit it. Also poor hygiene, basically where, when you're trying to perform, you're trying to perform and do the thing on your woman or something like that. And you get down there, she's not smelling pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
poor hygiene will throw everything off, man. You try to weed those out before they even get there, on the dating part. But once you get down there, that tells all. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then also another factor I think that goes into it is like maybe the sex is boring, maybe you need to spice it up in the bedroom, light some candles, do something different than your usual. What about you, Wayne? What do you think? What do you think some of the reasons?
Well, I want to say first, like intimacy, like we're talking about sex, but I mean, intimacy itself is more than just that. Sometimes it's like just even when you're walking with your person and you used to hold hands, now you're not holding hands. Especially for the ladies, that is how they feel connected, is it's touching, but not always just sexual. Guys, we just think one thing, like intimate means sex, but the ladies, intimacy also means touching and hugs and cuddling, and you all know ladies like to cuddle. I mean, I like my cuddle time too as well. So, those things are also going to intimacy for ladies, and that may be part of the reason why she doesn't want to have the ultimate intimacy, which is sex. So, this is something to throw out there as well.
Yeah, and I also think trust is another issue too that a lot of people have in their relationship. Even if they suspect, you may not, you normally do the thing, you kiss your partner or you do certain things, but then when that stops, they're like, what's going on here? We usually kiss each other. You don't want to kiss, or you don't want to hug, or you don't want to do certain things that we used to do. So I think they start to grow suspicion and they think, uh-oh, something ain't right here. So they might draw back, in which ultimately when you get in the bedroom, then, they may not want to do that anymore because of those suspicions. Or even if they think that you might be cheating, even if they suspect something is off, they might be hesitant and don't want to continue.
When you could be having, we've seen jokes about this, men will be asleep and, well, not remember, the woman will be asleep and she'll have a dream that you cheated on her. And she wake up, she mad at you. Like, what, who is Sarah? Like, I don't know, Sarah. Well, you were sleeping with her in my dream. Like, what?
Yeah, that definitely is clear. You say another woman's name in your sleep. That ain't good. Like, that ain't good.
Well, I mean, like, if she's dreaming about some made up person in her own dream. Now, if you sleep and you calling out somebody's name as the guy, then yeah, that's on you. I mean, that says who you rather be with. Then you might as well go ahead and end that relationship. But if your girl is asleep and she has a dream about some made up character that she thinks something in her mind, and then she wakes up and now she's mad at you and she's asking questions. She's like, I don't know what happened. She said, well, in my dream, you was doing this and you had this girl. And I'm like, what? So those things happen too.
Yeah, and it works both ways. Like, not only the woman, the man can get cheated on, and he might withdraw his sex because he feels like he's been faithful, and we've been dating for a while now, but you don't want to be intimate with me. What's going on here? So he might be thinking you cheating on him instead of the other way around.
Yeah, well, one thing I want to say is that when any relationship starts, and it gets to the physical aspect, once the relationship's going and you're starting to be physical on a routine basis, like when you first get together, like you guys are going at it. I mean, whether you're 20 something, whether you're 40 something, and you first start getting with somebody, that's pretty much what you guys are gonna do. You're gonna like see a movie and then have sex, or go to bed,
Yeah.
have sex, wake up, have sex, and then
Mhm.
do something else. Like that's the main thing because it's fun, it's exciting, you know. But then after a while, once the relationship is established, you start to get to a normal routine, like do normal people things, like you know, like have jobs and have kids, and you know, do have other friends that you hang out with as well. And so some people think like, well, you know, when we was together for the first 6 months, like we had like 3 times a day, you know, or you know, at least 5 times a week or whatever it is. And then, you know, the last 6 months we haven't really had it like that. And I was like, well, life happens too. You have to realize that like the way a relationship begins is not the way it's going to continue. That's the same with
Mhm.
anything. You know, everything's great in the beginning, and then eventually, like, you know, things move on.
Yeah, and that's a good point that I wanted to bring up too. Out external factors that's outside of your control. Like, men, we some men work 50, 60 plus hours in a week. They may not want to have sex every night, or vice versa. The woman might be working in a corporate setting and she's exhausted from talking, and the last thing she want to do is, come home and do the thing.
Well, I'll
And
say for me, I go work 100 hours a week. That's fine with me.
yeah,
I still at the end of the night, no matter how tired I am, there's only been a few exceptions where I'm like that tired that I just can't do it. But like the thing about it though, is that we can still perform, but the the build up is what lacks when you're that tired. You know, especially
mhm.
as me, like I realize that like if I'm super tired, I don't want to do the damn, what's the word? The the um the build up, the warm up. I don't want to do all that, you know, the
Yeah,
romance
like
and
yeah,
stuff like that. Cause I'm just like, man, I'm so tired. I just want to do things, go sleep. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, that's the part too. Where it's like, because you said men work, we work a lot of hours, and we do, and then like we just want to get to it, but you know, you can't miss out on the other part as well because that's where, especially for ladies, where they feel the connection and that you really want them is the build up, you know,
And also, we didn't
foreplay.
even
That's the
consider.
word, foreplay. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure that everything is nice and right before you do what you go do. That's good. But another thing I wanted to bring up though is pretty much like what I want to say. Some women feel like they like lack of communication because like when you tell them things that you previously liked, they might want to spice it up and do something different, and the men keep doing the same thing. So lack of communication also plays a role in it too, because you got to communicate with your partner to let them know, are you comfortable with this? Do you want to continue? And a lot of times people get stuck in their own mindset, especially the men. They think they're doing it right and they think they woman like it.
We
Well,
talk about that
check
because
in.
they see something on the internet and oh, that looks nice. Let me try that.
Yeah.
Without even discussing it with the lady or seeing if she likes it. Maybe she'll just go with it one time just because you brought it up. She wants to feel
Mhm.
connected, but actually she really doesn't like that. You know, so but for you know, we talked about that already. But yeah, and for guys, the intimacy is lacking because he's not getting what he's seeing on TV, which is a whole nother or not TV but the internet.
Yeah.
But we spoke about that before. That's another problem with the intimacy.
Yeah, and then also, like I talked about a little bit earlier, like good hygiene. When I had a cousin where he was about to go down on the woman, and he backed away. He's like, "What's that smell down her, vagina?" Like, you need to make sure that if you're gonna perform sex, that you're taking a bath at least twice a day or one time a day. Make sure it's clean down there before you go and start sucking on any body parts, because that's why he had to back out. I'm glad that he backed out, because a lot of guys don't do that. They don't care. Some guys don't care about the hygiene. But I'm glad that he had, enough self-awareness and self-respect for himself before he discontinued, and he knew that smell was down there. I said, "Good for you, man. Good for you." Because some
You
some
know,
guys will hit it. They don't
I
care.
don't know if you ever thought about this, but like, you know, when you watch movies, especially like timepieces, like I like to watch like gladiator movies and
Mm.
medieval movies. And you know, hygiene was not the same back then as it is now. And you know, like when it gets to those scenes and you be like, man, they ain't showered in how long? And they sitting there doing that.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-mm.
they just came from battle and they just want to get it on. Like man, it's smelly though. Like, but I mean, that's just something I just think about. Like, I couldn't live back then because man, people didn't bath like they did back then. You know, maybe like once a week they took a bath. So how you have sex throughout the week?
Yeah, that's straight up nasty. And I think also another reason that we talked about previously in last season was about STDs. That's another big part of it. Like, most people, will not have sex with you because they, definitely AIDS, gonorrhea, if they even suspect that you've been cheating and you got it, you got a disease from another man or a woman, they're not going to want to have anything to do with it. Now, given that you can take different, medicines for sickness and stuff like that, and that'll go away. But like the big things, like I wouldn't want to have sex with nobody either that's, got a disease. Ugh.
I mean, it's not just that. Like you got like hepatitis, you can't get rid of that.
Yeah.
Like you got that forever.
Mhm.
Syphilis, gonorrhea can hide in your system for a
Mhm.
long time, and then pop out, and then it may be too late, or like there were studies done on African Americans who had syphilis back in the early 1900s, and they just wanted to see how it affects the body. Eventually, like it gets to the brain, and like it's very serious. Like people die from that if you're not treated. Yeah, now it's easy to treat with penicillin or whatever they use, but still, it's like still a big deal. I'm just glad I'm married and I don't have to worry about that no more.
Well, all of our single or people that's still looking for somebody, they got to still go through all that, trying to figure out who they want and who they don't.
Yeah. Well, there's an STD that's so prevalent that we don't even the population like pretty much everybody has it, and it doesn't show any symptoms in men, which is HPV, human
Mm.
papillomavirus. So now they got vaccines for teenagers that they give out to try to prevent the spread of it more. But like it's so prevalent, and it's the leading cause of cervical cancer in women. So, I mean, like that's just something to think about.
Oh, and then another one that I wanted to bring up too. We talked a little bit about body dysmorphia, but like in terms of like how you perceive your body, you may not want to be intimate because some men are very hesitant about showing off their body because they may not have a good body to show, or even women. Let's throw it on to women too. Some of them women are feel like they're getting old and they all washed up down there, so they may not want their partner to see that. So it can have to do with like your physical appearance too, and how you perceive, and maybe that's probably why you might want to stop. You may not, you might want to stop having intimacy too.
Well,
So
it's like what
that's
Cat
another.
Williams said, years ago. Cat Williams said, for men, it don't matter if you got stretch marks and what, we still gonna hit. If you got stretch marks, it either means two things: either you was big and got small, or you was small and got big. Either way, we we getting it in.
Yeah, yeah, but just that's something to
But for
consider
women,
to
they
take
care about
in.
those things.
Yeah.
Man, like most men, we don't care about no stretch marks. Like,
Mhm.
okay, whatever.
Yeah, as long as we getting it in, right?
Yeah. But so while we talk about it, I went on so this is Psychology Today, and they had the top 10 reasons why some couples stop having sex. And we're talking about intimacy is more than just sex, but specifically they talked about sex here. And so and I want to talk about some of these. And what it talks about is like when you stop having intimacy in a relationship, you pretty much become like business partners. Like you guys are like roommates at that point. It's like and something's lacking in a relationship. And so I'm just gonna go down the line here. So like ones that stuck out to me was like being afraid of what one will hear. And what that means is like you're afraid to ask the questions. Like you guys, you and your partner, whoever, stop having sex for like a month, and no one's talking about it. And then it goes into another month, and both of you guys are wondering like, well, is she going to initiate? Am I going to initiate? It's like what's going on here? And you may be afraid, like, well, like you said, maybe the woman doesn't want to ask the question because she's like, oh, now she's running her mind. He's cheating, or he's not into me. He's unattractive because I gained 10 pounds. And the guy may be thinking, like, man, I need to go to the gym, or, let me lose this stomach because I don't want to take my shirt off, or, whatever. And
Mm.
that's what part of it is like you're afraid of what the other person is going to say. Um, and then, there's a fear, of course, of being replaced or being abandoned. With these fears in mind, it's easy to understand why no one's asking these questions. Um, so before I go to the next one, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think definitely like your partner is really you know lack of trust issues definitely play a role into it, because sometimes people just they be very guarded about their bodies, and I don't think that they want to always necessarily have sex all the time. Sometimes it goes a little bit deeper, like you said, with women. Sometimes women don't always want to have be intimate. They rather just kiss or caress, or just do things that's not too intimate.
Yeah.
And I think that men have to kind of, be self-aware enough of their woman to know that. And if they're
Yeah,
not, then
absolutely.
that's a problem. You know?
Yeah. And the next one here talks about, it says number 2, become a business partner only, which we kind of discussed, like, well, you just, it's transactional at this point. It's like, oh, I'm doing this right over here, I'm doing that. Number 3 is exhaustion, which we kind of spoke on earlier. Like I said, for me, I feel like for me and the guys I know, it's like, we be dead tired. We can still perform, but it's the foreplay part that may be lacking from the man side, which the women really want. And for the women, like, if my wife's that tired, like, she doesn't want anything, she's just done.
Mhm. That's
So I
good.
try to do my best to make sure she's not that tired. Number 4 is not feeling good about your body, which we went into length about as well, because if you're not feeling good about, sex is a very intimate
Intimate, yeah.
and sensitive thing, because you're completely naked for the most part, and so you may be shy about certain things about your body, uh, which we already discussed. Number 5, discomfort during sex. So this may apply to
Yeah.
anyone, but I hear most frequent from women who are getting older and are concerned about dryness or pain during sex, and they're reluctant to discuss this with their gynecologist. And for men too, you know, um,
Yeah.
if it's not right, if she's not all the way warmed up, it may not feel quite the same as before. So
Or if a guy,
there's pain on your part too. Yeah. So
yeah,
you
or
gotta
if
have
a
those
guy has a
discussions.
big, penis and he's trying to stick it into a small hole, that ain't gonna go well. Like, because some women don't like, big penises. So,
Yeah, that's why you gotta make sure she's ready. I mean, because you know, if she's
yeah.
not all the way ready, she may be saying, "Yeah, just so you can do it and so she can feel
Mhm.
connected and get over with." But if she's not ready, it's gonna be very difficult, and it's gonna be pain and discomfort, and then, it's eventually, like, it's gonna be the lacking of that sexual act again. So
Or
again,
some women, expect too much from their, male partners, and they are trying to have them do all these types of things that they don't even have the ability to do to themselves. So that's another one. So it's exhaustion goes back to that as well too.
but another part on discomfort I want to hit on, um, again, kind of goes back to men seeing certain acts being performed on internet
Mhm.
that the woman doesn't want to do. Using another hole, for example, she may not want to do that, or it's just being overly rough, which is also out there online, which some women may not want. There's some that do, but there's some that don't. It's all about knowing your partner. Maybe one too many hits on the butt be too painful for some women. It's just like, I don't like you always hitting it. And I can't sit down afterwards. It's like, and some might be like, get the whip, let's go. It's all about knowing your partner. The next one's boredom. Simply the lack of novelty in same sexual routine over and over again. Like, all right,
Mhm.
the kids are in bed, it's 8 o'clock or it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever time you guys go to bed. All right, let's do this. And it's just like, okay, you get undressed, they get undressed, and you do the thing. And it's just like, all right, that's good for sometimes, but like you can't do the same thing every
And
single time.
and did you hear about this one? Some women actually fake their orgasms just to please their man.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know how they do that, but
I mean, you just make sounds.
because they're not really satisfied. They just want to make sure they just want their partner to know that they're satisfied, but they're really not. So
Yeah, they're afraid to say because they're bored of the same thing, or they're not, again, warmed up properly, and or they just want to please the person. They're not really into it. They're not feeling it. Women have so many things in their mind going on, and they're sitting there, a million and one things going on. And for us, it's just like very simple: sports, food. Did I eat today? Everybody safe? All right, let's have sex. Like, that's pretty much the basic things that's in our head for the most part. And so it's like, she's just really not into it, but she'll still do it just to please you. And then, next one, lack of trust after an affair or even thoughts of an affair or cheating. We've discussed that already. I mean, that's obvious one, right? If you think your partner's out there doing that with somebody else and you're in a uh, exclusive relationship, not like you're just hooking up, here and there, but an exclusive relationship that's been going on for a while. Of course, you want that, and you guys haven't had that discussion about it being an open relationship. You want that exclusivity, so of course that would, hinder intimacy.
another thing I wanted to bring up too is like if your partner's always going to hurry up and take showers before y'all want to do something, that's a key indication that something cheating might be going on because they have to wash all the toxins out of the last person before they get it on with you, right?
I mean, I don't know about that because the next one is bad hygiene, which we kind of discussed already. Is like, you want to make sure you're clean, especially if a person's, putting their mouthpieces on places.
Mhm.
So having a shower beforehand is not necessarily an indication of cheating. Maybe it's just that you run to make sure that you're clean enough to perform the acts.
But they always taking showers before sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to watch out for that.
I think it's more like if you, yeah, we can get to that in another episode. Next one, uh, kind of cut off here, and then conflicting parenting styles. So you may not think of parenting styles affecting intimacy and sex, but absolutely, because the conflicting parenting styles will result in arguments, will result in lack of intimacy.
Mhm.
So the entire family gets stressed out, and so does couple time. Look, if you're arguing constantly about how to raise a little one, do you obviously think you're going to have a lot of sex?
Probably not.
Yeah,
You're not gonna have sex at all.
yeah, absolutely. So that's what I got into. And then another one that's on here is financial hardships as well. I mean, if you guys are already poor and
Mhm.
you're like, let's just do this because we're bored, like type of thing, like okay, but like if you're like kind of established relationship and established relationship, and you're trying to build something, and then like one loses a job or gets injured and can't work or something like that, or just unsurmountable bills out of nowhere, like medical bills, or you wreck a car and you have to get a new one. Those type of financial things also hinder because a lot of relationships end over finances. So lack of financial security would also help or hurt intimacy.
All right, let's wrap this up here. So can we give any men advice or women if they're going through this? Should they talk to their partners and kind of get open communication to make sure that everything's okay, to kind of resume things, or
Oh yeah,
what,
you
what's
got to
some
talk.
what's some advice that you would give your guys or women?
The number one thing is you got to talk. You got to talk to your partner. Like I said, sex is a very sensitive topic, and you got to talk about it. If you don't trust the person that you're sleeping with to have those conversations, then that maybe not be somebody that you really trustworthy to be with, or maybe you just need to learn how to open up within yourself. And don't be afraid of what they say. If they say something that you can't cope with, then you need to find someone else. I mean, there's
Mhm.
8.5 billion people in the world. Go outside your little circle, your little town, wherever you're at, and there's somebody there waiting for you. So that's what I got to say.
Yeah, and to throw on some more advice to that, I feel like, communication plays a key role in your relationships. If you're feeling like your partner's cheating on you or you're not getting enough love, even through little kisses and stuff, just let your partner know that so then they can adjust and, be able to be more, make your feelings more valid and make sure that, you understand each other, because so many relationships fail because lack of communication. So definitely communicate with your partner and let them know that. And then also I wanted to say is making sure that, like we cover all these things like good hygiene, making sure that, you're spicing things up, keeping things, fresh and new, saying, hey, you want to do that, you want to do this, just confirming different things so it doesn't get stale and boring. And going on dates, even if you are locked down with a woman or a guy,
Yeah,
make sure you block out from external like kids, job. Make sure you have some just you and you, just one-on-one between you and your partner. So just some of
well,
those
that
tips can
too.
kind of help you.
Yeah, and when you talked about communication and asking these questions, guys, be mindful and be open to the feedback, right? Constructive criticism. If your girl is saying, I would like when you kiss me here, or don't do this, don't do that, and you may be thinking, well, we've always been doing it this way. You ain't never said nothing before, just because she didn't want to hurt your feeling, right? So be open to that feedback and able to adjust. Just because somebody likes something for 5 years doesn't mean for the next 5 years they're going to like that, because we all grow and change over time. Just think like if you're in your 30s, do you like the same things that you did when you were 18, 19 years old? Like, so it's the
Mhm.
same way in relationships. So be open to that feedback as well. And with that, you guys have a great week, and we'll see y'all again in a little while. And if you ever want to
See
come
ya.
on the show, let us know.
All right. Take care, everybody.